Welcome to NextGen Timber, where raw material meets smart machinery and heavy steel turns waste, rock, rubber, timber, and scrap into usable output. Massive shredders, crushers, sorting systems, and processing lines work non-stop to reduce chaos into clean, reusable material. We begin with pure hydraulic control on a massive scale. Flipping 3,000 tons of solid rock is not just about brute strength. It is about carefully managed force, precise calculations, and engineering accurate enough to move something that massive without losing control. Every hydraulic movement has to be measured perfectly because even the smallest imbalance could send enormous pressure in the wrong direction. Watching a machine handle that kind of load with smooth precision almost feels unreal. This is where industrial engineering stops looking like ordinary machinery and starts looking like mechanical mastery. And before we go deeper into the heavier systems, if this kind of industrial content is exactly why you clicked, subscribe to NextGen Timber right now. There is a lot more crushing power, recycling technology, and heavy equipment ahead, and the machines only get bigger from here. Then a wooden pallet meets the crusher, and years of service disappear in seconds. One moment it still looks like something usable sitting in a warehouse or loading yard, and the next it is reduced into splinters and broken fibers ready for another stage of processing. That is one of the most satisfying parts of modern recycling systems. Waste does not simply vanish. Machines take old material and push it toward a completely different purpose. Even something as simple as broken wood becomes fuel, mulch, biomass, or recycled material once the right equipment gets involved. Next comes a stone crusher, proving that serious industrial power does not always need imported giants to get the job done. This machine attacks rough stone with steady mechanical pressure, turning oversized rock into usable aggregate while showing exactly how capable local engineering can be. The crusher does not just break stone apart, it transforms rough terrain into workable material for roads, construction, and industrial projects. Every pass feels like another reminder that raw power becomes much more impressive when it is combined with reliability and consistency. Then the Weimar Spider 1000 500H enters the scene and immediately starts pulling old pallets into its cutting system. Broken timber, worn-out wood, damaged boards, none of it slows the machine down. The shredder grabs everything aggressively and converts useless waste into valuable processed material in seconds. It is clean, fast, efficient, and almost hypnotic to watch once the feed system starts moving continuously. Machines like this completely change the way industrial waste is handled. Instead of seeing piles of useless wood, you start seeing future biomass, fuel, mulch, and reusable output. Drop a comment, what would you throw into this machine first? Then the sound takes over. The deep hum of the motors, the grinding of steel, the cracking of stone, and the constant rhythm of material being reduced all combine into something strangely satisfying. Industrial machinery has its own kind of soundtrack. The steady transformation from raw rock into gravel feels less like destruction and more like controlled industrial rhythm operating at full power. If you are still watching at this point, you already understand this is not normal machinery content. This is heavy engineering, high torque systems, and industrial pressure working exactly as designed. Subscribe now because the machines only get heavier, louder, and more extreme from here. The Kentech XD 518 changes the pace by bringing efficiency into the spotlight. It spins, separates, sorts, and organizes waste with the kind of precision that makes modern processing systems look almost futuristic. Suddenly, waste management stops looking messy and starts looking engineered. The machine turns chaotic material into controlled output while keeping everything moving smoothly. Watching systems like this work reminds you how much industrial technology has evolved. Even garbage becomes part of a carefully designed mechanical workflow. New York brings a completely different kind of scene next. Confiscated dirt bikes meet a bulldozer, and the result is immediate. No appeals, no second chances, no negotiation. Steel rolls forward, and the machines disappear under crushing force. It is a brutal reminder that heavy equipment is sometimes used as enforcement as much as industry. Once the blade starts moving, the outcome is already decided. Then the Compactor 300 arrives and treats construction debris like breakfast. Concrete chunks, twisted metal, broken wood, mixed demolition waste the machine keeps feeding, crushing, and processing without slowing down. It is built specifically for environments where smaller equipment would fail almost immediately. This is the kind of machine designed for disaster cleanup, demolition sites, and large industrial projects where material piles up faster than humans could ever handle manually. Then a homemade wood chipper reminds us that industrial efficiency does not always have to come from giant factories. Simple machines can still solve big problems. Branches, wood scraps, and organic waste get transformed into mulch, compost, and fuel material instead of ending up in landfills. It is practical, efficient, and surprisingly important. That is the kind of next-generation thinking that turns waste into something useful instead of disposable. Then the sound returns again. Deep rumbling motors, snapping wood fibers, grinding pressure, rotating blades, industrial ASMR, powered by real mechanical force. It is not just satisfying visually, the audio alone makes the entire process feel heavier and more immersive. The SSI Dual Shear M160 enters next with slow, deliberate aggression. Unlike high-speed systems, this machine relies on controlled torque and precision blades to process dense industrial waste at around 40 tons per hour. Nothing about it feels rushed. It grabs material, pulls it inward, and tears it apart with overwhelming consistency. That slow mechanical destruction somehow makes it even more satisfying because you can actually watch the force being applied step by step. A tire goes in, and within seconds, it no longer resembles a tire at all. Thick rubber, reinforced layers, stubborn elasticity, none of it matters once the shredder grabs hold. Sharp cutting teeth rip through the material while the machine keeps feeding forward without hesitation. Tires are designed to survive roads, heat, pressure, and impact. Then the Seppi-stone crusher goes after rough terrain itself. Large rocks sitting in fields or construction zones stop being obstacles once this machine gets involved. Pass after pass, uneven ground becomes smoother, more usable, and easier to work with. Watching raw terrain get reshaped by mechanical force is one of the clearest examples of machines changing entire landscapes through persistence and power. Next, the crusher takes on wood and metal cans. The wood resists briefly before splitting apart instantly, while metal cans flatten almost effortlessly under pressure. It is a simple demonstration, but it perfectly shows what real crushing force looks like. Once enough pressure builds, shape and structure stop meaning anything. Then 10-liter metal buckets enter the machine and come out almost unrecognizable. Twisted steel, torn edges, flattened shapes, it looks less like crushing and more like the machine completely erasing the original form of the object. A stubborn silo becomes the next challenge. One man, one tractor, and one structure refusing to collapse until the final moment. The tension builds while the machine keeps pulling against years of resistance and structural weight. Then suddenly the entire thing gives way. These moments are exactly why people watch heavy equipment videos in the first place. Slow tension followed by instant release. And that unexpected moment right there? That is exactly why you stay until the end of videos like this. Heavy machinery always has the potential to surprise you. Then the XR3000RC enters, looking like something from a futuristic industrial fleet. Remote-controlled, aggressive, and capable of processing around 60 tons per hour, it moves across the site with the confidence of a machine designed specifically for destruction. Material disappears into the shredder while operators control the system from a safe distance. It almost feels like industrial automation mixed with raw mechanical force. Steel reaches its final stage next, shredded, crushed, and erased under overwhelming industrial pressure. No resistance lasts forever once these systems start working. Metal bends, folds, snaps, and eventually becomes raw, recyclable material ready for another life. Put on headphones for this section because the sound alone is worth it. Motors rumble deeply while crushers grind rock and steel against steel. Industrial processing has its own rhythm, and once the machines start feeding continuously, it becomes strangely relaxing despite how violent the process actually is. The PowerHand VRS 200 closes in with surgical dismantling precision. Built for recycling operations, this machine carefully separates, pulls, and dismantles vehicle components with incredible control. Instead of blindly crushing everything, it disassembles vehicles step by step, recovering valuable materials efficiently. It feels less like destruction and more like mechanical surgery performed by heavy equipment. That final cut was clean, brutal, but still clean. Machines like this prove that industrial destruction can still look precise when the engineering is good enough. Then another pile disappears under nonstop feeding. Operators keep pushing material forward while the machine keeps consuming everything in front of it. Slowly, the mountain of waste starts shrinking until almost nothing remains. It is one of the clearest demonstrations of how industrial throughput works at scale. Then comes an important reminder about aluminum cans. Unlike many materials, aluminum does not simply disappear after use. It resets. It can be recycled repeatedly without losing strength, making it one of the most valuable recyclable materials in the waste stream. Every can thrown away carelessly is basically wasted money and wasted industrial potential. That is NextGen Timber crushers, shredders, stone processors, chippers, sorting systems, industrial recyclers, and next-generation machinery transforming raw chaos into reusable material every single day. If you made it this far, subscribe now for more heavy equipment, industrial recycling technology, smart processing systems, and extreme machine action. The machines are only getting stronger, smarter, and more impressive from here.